I walked into my own graduation party holding my diploma, and the banner had my sister's name on it. She didn't even graduate. Applause broke out instantly. Someone whistled. My mother clapped like this was the payoff she'd been waiting for, eyes shining, scanning the room to make sure everyone saw it. My sister stood near the cake, blinking, then smiling as people surged toward her. She didn't correct anyone. She didn't step back. She accepted the hugs like they belonged to her. I laughed because my body panicked before my brain caught up. "That's not right," I said, loud enough to be heard. "I'm the one who graduated." The words hung there for half a second. A few people looked at me. A few smiles stalled. My father picked up the microphone and chuckled. Not confused, amused. "Relax," he said. "It's just a party." Then he looked straight at me and added, "Don't ruin this." That's when I knew it wasn't an accident. The banner stayed up, big letters, her name, class year printed underneath like it was official. I was still wearing my cap. My tassel brushed my cheek every time I moved. My mother noticed and smiled wider, like the contrast pleased her. They cut the cake. Her name again, written thick and perfect. People lined up to congratulate her. "You must be so proud," someone told me, patting my arm without looking at me. My sister laughed and said, "It feels surreal." Everyone laughed with her. I leaned toward my mother and said quietly, "Fix this." She didn't lower her voice when she answered. "Why are you being difficult?" she said. "Can't you just let your sister have one good thing?" Heads turned. Judgment shifted. I felt it land on me. Here's the part people will argue about. My sister never graduated. She stopped going years ago. Everyone there knew that. Everyone. And still, nobody said a word. My father raised his glass. "To our graduate," he announced, arm sliding around my sister's shoulders. He squeezed, proud, satisfied. My mother watched me over the rim of her cup, enjoying the fact that I was trapped by politeness and witnesses. I tried again. I reached for the microphone. My father's hand came down over it, gentle but firm. "Not now," he said through his smile. "Don't make a scene." The DJ turned the music up, on cue, swallowing the moment whole. People kept eating, laughing, moving on. The party had momentum now, and I was underneath it. My name wasn't on anything. Not the banner, not the cake, not the speech. I was a guest at a celebration for something I did alone and wasn't allowed to own. Someone pulled me into a group photo. "Stand next to your sister," they said brightly. My parents positioned us like decorations. My father straightened the banner so her name was centered in the frame. My mother adjusted my sister's collar and didn't touch me at all. "Smile," she said, eyes sharp. Cameras flashed. Between flashes, my sister whispered, "I didn't ask for this." She didn't give anything back. She didn't say anything out loud. She stood there and let it happen. The crowd cheered when the photos were done, satisfied, like the right version of reality had just been captured. Every time I tried to step away, someone stopped me. "You must be so proud of her. What's she doing next?" Each time my mother watched closely, waiting to see if I'd correct them. When I didn't, her smile deepened. My aunt leaned over and said, "You've always been emotional." A cousin laughed and said, "Just let her have this." No one asked me a single question about my degree. I realized then that if I walked out, I'd be labeled ungrateful. If I stayed, I was agreeing to be erased. My parents had set it up perfectly, public enough that silence looked like consent. Near the end of the night, my mother clinked her glass again. "Family means supporting each other," she said, eyes on me. "Even when we're tempted to make things about ourselves." People nodded. Someone clapped. That was when it hit me. This wasn't a mistake. It was a test, and everyone was watching to see if I'd accept losing my name. The first thing I saw when I woke up was my mother's post. A photo from the party, my sister in the center, the banner glowing behind her, captioned, "So proud of our graduate." Not a graduate. Not celebrating. Our graduate. Singular. She had tagged everyone. Family, friends, old neighbors, people I hadn't spoken to since middle school. My phone buzzed nonstop with congratulations meant for my sister and nothing for me. I commented once, carefully, "That was actually my graduation." The comment vanished within minutes. I called my mother. She laughed, light and pleased, like she'd been expecting the call. "I knew you'd react like this," she said. "Look how happy everyone is." I told her to correct it. She said, "Why would I embarrass your sister publicly?" Then she hung up. My father shared the post next. Same photo, new caption, "Couldn't be prouder." He added a graduation cap emoji. That part felt intentional, like he wanted to make it official through repetition. I texted him a photo of my diploma. His reply came back fast. "Stop trying to take this away from her. That line is going to make people furious." I earned something, and they framed my existence as theft. I posted my own photo. No explanation, No rant. Just my diploma on the table. Caption, for accuracy. Within minutes, my mother commented, "Why are you doing this online?" People liked her comment, not mine. She started messaging relatives directly. I know because they told me, awkwardly, like they were delivering bad news they didn't want to own. She's jealous. She's spiraling. We're worried about her. Each message spread the lie further, wrapped in concern. The cruelty wasn't loud anymore. It was organized. By noon, the family group chat was wall-to-wall celebration for my sister. Screenshots of congratulations, party photos, plans for a dinner in her honor. I typed one sentence. "Please stop." No response. A minute later, I was removed from the chat. No warning, just gone. That's when it clicked that they were enjoying this. My mother posted again. A close-up of the cake with my sister's name in frosting. Caption, "Still smiling." She knew I'd see it. She wanted me to. I went to their house because being ignored felt worse than being yelled at. The door was open, laughter inside. My sister sat at the table opening cards addressed to her. Cash, checks. Someone had written, "You earned this," on an envelope. She hesitated, glanced at me, then kept opening them. My parents watched like hosts watching a successful event. I said, "This has to stop." My father didn't look up. "You're making things uncomfortable," he said. My mother finally turned to me, eyes bright. "You already had your moment," she said. "Why can't you let your sister have hers?" I picked up a card and read it out loud. "Congratulations on graduating." My mother clapped once, slow, mocking. "See?" she said. "Everyone believes it." There was no confusion in her voice, just satisfaction. I reached for my diploma folder, not to wave it around, just to hold something real. My father stood and blocked me from the table. "Put that away," he said. "You're embarrassing us." Us. Not her. Not the lie. Them. I left because staying meant raising my voice, and raising my voice would only help them. As I stepped outside, my mother called after me, loud enough for everyone inside to hear, "Don't come back until you can be supportive." The door closed behind me, firm and final. The posts didn't slow down. My mother shared an old photo of my sister wearing a graduation cap from a costume party years ago. Caption, "Always destined for this." People commented hearts and applause. Someone asked where she studied. My father answered. He lied easily. I tried once more to correct the record without emotion. I replied to a public comment with one sentence and attached proof. Within seconds, my account was reported. The platform warned me about harassment. My truth was flagged. Their lies stayed up. My mother reacted to the warning with a laughing emoji, screenshot it, and sent it to relatives with the caption, "See what we deal with." Neighbors started congratulating my sister in public. At the grocery store, at the coffee shop. She texted me, "This is getting kind of big." I asked her to say something. She replied, "I don't want to be in the middle." Then she posted another smiling photo. Each notification felt like a vote being cast against me, counted loudly, publicly, and proudly by the people who taught me honesty mattered. That night, my phone went quiet. No messages, no tags, no corrections. And in that silence, I understood exactly how much ground I'd just lost. The email arrived before noon. Subject line neutral enough to pass as routine. Updated graduation announcement. It wasn't an update, it was a cleanup. My parents had contacted the alumni office and the local paper again, and this time, the lie was packaged as clarification. The message thanked readers for their patience and explained there had been family confusion at the celebration. It stated that my sister was being recognized for educational milestone completion, and that public materials would be aligned to reflect that language going forward. No names, no specifics, just enough wording to make the story sound settled. There was a meeting scheduled to close the loop, not private, structured. The alumni coordinator, a school representative, 2 relatives listed as family witnesses. My parents arrived early, relaxed, smiling like people who believed the system was on their side. My mother brought printed copies of the email and arranged them neatly on the table. No one asked why I was there. I was simply included, like a footnote. The coordinator read from the document in a steady voice. "The goal here is consistency," she said. My parents nodded in sync. My mother corrected a punctuation mark. She liked how clean it sounded. She liked watching something ugly be sanded down into professionalism. The word graduate appeared once, without a subject. My sister's presence was implied, mine erased. The coordinator asked if everyone was comfortable with the language. Silence followed. That silence counted as agreement. A school representative mentioned records. My father smiled. "We've already provided supporting material," he said, tapping a folder on the table. I recognized it immediately. the same folder my sister had carried at the party. Empty then. Apparently authoritative now. No one opened it yet. They discussed distribution. The revised announcement would be reposted, archived, and sent to the alumni mailing list. Archived meant permanent. My mother leaned back, arms crossed, pleased. This wasn't emotional anymore. This was official. I tried to speak. The coordinator raised a hand gently. Let's keep this procedural. The procedure was my erasure. My mother looked directly at me and said evenly, "This is about accuracy, not attention." That line is going to make people furious because it flips the truth into selfishness. The coordinator asked if there were objections. My parents said no. The relatives stayed silent. The school representative typed. Keys clicked, sharp and final. Then the coordinator said, "I'll mark this as final," and clicked a checkbox on her screen. My father nodded once. My mother exhaled, satisfied. The document was saved. The announcement scheduled. The record locked. The harm was sealed before anyone questioned it. That's when the receipts surfaced. The school representative paused, eyes narrowing slightly at her screen. "There's an inconsistency," she said, not accusatory, just factual. She scrolled. The cursor hovered. She frowned. "The graduation registry lists one completed degree for this year," she said, under her name. She didn't say my sister's name. She said mine. The room tightened. My father laughed softly, too quickly. "Those systems lag," he said. My mother didn't move. Her smile sharpened. "We addressed equivalency," she said calmly, like reminding someone of a rule. The representative clicked again. "There is no equivalency filed," she said, still calm, still procedural. The alumni coordinator glanced at her screen, then back at the document she had just finalized. She didn't undo anything. She didn't apologize. My phone buzzed. An email forwarded from someone I barely knew. A screenshot of the official graduation list published weeks earlier. My name, alone. Time-stamped. Archived. Clean. I didn't raise my phone. I didn't need to. The representative had already seen enough to hesitate. My mother leaned forward slightly. "Is there a problem?" she asked, pleasant as ever. She was testing whether the system would choose her version because it was smoother. The coordinator hesitated. "Just a beat. We'll need to flag this for review," she said carefully. My father's jaw tightened. My mother didn't blink. The document was already filed, the announcement already scheduled, the record already marked final. But now someone official was staring at a name that didn't match the story, and she couldn't unsee it. The representative opened a new window. The room stayed silent while she typed. No one interrupted her. My parents watched, waiting for control to return. It didn't. She looked up and said, "I'm forwarding this to the registrar for verification." She didn't ask permission. My mother smiled thinner. "We'd like to resolve this quickly," she said. "We will," the representative replied. "Correctly." The coordinator closed her laptop halfway. "Until that review is complete," she said, "distribution will remain scheduled, but flagged. Flagged, not fixed, not undone, just marked." The meeting ended without ceremony. No reassurance, no validation. Just process moving on without them at the center. As we stood to leave, the representative glanced at me again. Longer this time, then back at her screen. She stared at the two names, and for the first time, the system hesitated instead of obeying. No one spoke when the representative finished typing. The coordinator reread her screen, lips pressed together, scrolling back up as if checking she hadn't missed something obvious. The room didn't explode. It stalled. Chairs creaked. A pen rolled and stopped. The quiet wasn't awkward anymore. It was evaluative. My parents waited for someone to look at them for direction. No one did. "Okay," the coordinator said at last, slower than before. "Next steps." She turned the laptop slightly toward the representative. They spoke to each other, not to my parents. The process took over the pace. My father tried to interject once, a small clearing of his throat. It went unanswered. My mother folded her hands neatly. "We'd appreciate being kept in the loop," she said. It sounded reasonable. It didn't land. The representative nodded without committing. "You'll receive notice," she replied, already opening another document. My mother opened her mouth again, then closed it. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. The coordinator said, "Until verification is complete, all external materials remain frozen." She clicked, then added, "Access to alumni communications is restricted to institutional accounts only." Another click. My father leaned forward. "Restricted how?" The coordinator glanced up. "You won't be able to submit revisions," she said, "or request postings." She didn't explain further. She didn't need to. The representative stood, gathering her papers. "I'm initiating a compliance review," she said, as if noting the weather. "That includes the prior filing and supporting materials." She looked at the folder again, then set it aside, untouched. You'll be contacted if anything else is required. Required from them, not offered by them. One of the relatives cleared their throat. I think this is getting complicated, they said weakly. No one agreed. No one disagreed. The silence didn't protect my parents anymore. It bypassed them. My father tried to smile. We were just trying to celebrate family, he said. The coordinator didn't respond. She was already scheduling something on her calendar. My mother shifted in her chair. Surely there's discretion, she said. This doesn't need to escalate. The representative paused at the door and turned back. It already has, she said evenly. That's why it's no longer discretionary. That was the moment my parents stopped being the center of the conversation. They were participants waiting for instructions they didn't get. The coordinator closed her laptop fully. We're done here, she said, not angrily, conclusively. She nodded once to the representative. They left together, talking quietly about timelines. No one invited my parents to walk with them. In the hallway, my mother started to speak, then stopped when she realized no one was listening. My father pulled out his phone, refreshing his email, jaw tight. For the first time since this started, they didn't know what to do next. I stayed where I was long enough to forward the registrar every document I had already sent, plus the screenshots the representative had noticed. No commentary, no framing, just files. Then I stood. My mother turned to me, voice low. You didn't have to make this public, she said. It was the last attempt to invert the roles. It fell flat. The hallway was empty. There was no audience to perform for. I didn't, I said. It was the only sentence I offered. At the exit, the coordinator caught up to me. We'll be in touch, she said. Professional, neutral. She didn't apologize. She didn't reassure. She didn't need to. The system had shifted from narrative to record. Outside, my phone buzzed once. A notification. The alumni post was no longer visible. Not corrected, not replaced, just gone. Behind me, my parents stood together, speaking quietly, trying to decide who to call. No one was waiting for their explanation. No one was asking them to clarify anything. I walked away with my documentation saved, the record frozen, and their version suspended in a review they couldn't charm or rush. For the first time, their control depended on facts they didn't have.